With new tools like Lovable, Versal, Gemini, building an app in a stupid short period of time, like 5 days, 2 days, 3 days, is actually realistic for everybody and their mothers. I mean, anybody can literally do this. My grandma could do it if I showed her how to do it. It's a prompt, you get the app, you maybe change a few things with a few more prompts. It's stupidly easy. And I'm never gonna say that's hard because it's not hard. What still is difficult is when that comes to mobile apps. And what a lot of people don't understand is that although building online apps is different, that easiness on that level of easy and difficulty does not translate to mobile apps. The first mobile app I actually built took me 40 days to build, and it never even ended up seeing the light of day. I never even released it on the App Store. I built Stylr, which is my second and current app, in just 14 days and launched it 7 days later. So it is actually still reasonably easy. I mean, it's a lot easier than it would have been 3 years ago. 3 years ago, you'd be spending a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever, to develop a really good level app. Now it can take 14 days, a month or whatever, but the level of difficulty and the level of skill and knowledge and dedication you need compared to what you need to build a web app is completely different levels. The first thing that's really important to know when it comes to mobile apps compared to building web apps with these tools like Lovable is you need to be focused on one single core feature. Why? Because when you're building these mobile apps, they're a lot harder to build than these web apps, as I've already made clear. So you need to be able to shorten that time that it takes to build as much as possible and make it a lot easier for yourself. So have that one single feature, one core feature, which you think and you believe will solve 80% of the problem. You need to get that out as quickly as possible so that you can test your app and make sure it's a good idea before investing more time. The same as you would do with a web app. But obviously with the web app, you can be sort of more creative because it's easier to build now with these tools. Whereas with a mobile app, you still need to be very focused on one singular core feature that you want to test. The second thing that I think I changed when I built my second app, which took obviously just 2 weeks, compared to my first app, which took over 40 days and never saw the light of day, is making sure that everything works in all aspects all the time. This means, when you're on day 3, you're testing it with a user, you're testing that it can still work with Apple, you're testing that it still is compliant with Apple, you're testing that you still got every bit of the app working, and you're testing basically everything at every point of the app to ensure that it's never breaking and you're leaving something behind. What happened on my first app is that I left a few things, a few dependencies, a few things which I thought I could just ignore, a few things which I thought I'd just leave right until about day 35, and then I realized once I got to day 35, actually that's a much bigger issue than I originally thought. And then I couldn't publish the app because the issue was too big, and I just couldn't launch it because it wasn't possible to launch because these issues had become too big. So error checking is way more important, especially with mobile apps compared to these web apps. These web apps are easy to build, so if I fail to build a web app, I just start the web app again. It doesn't take that long. With these mobile apps, you can't do that. You can't start the mobile app again. Obviously, I'm not going to diss web apps. There are obviously web apps that are really complicated to build, but I'm mostly talking about those really simple single feature web apps. And when it comes to the same things on mobile, they can be quite complex still to build, to configure with Apple, to configure with everything that you have to obviously configure it with, configure in paywalls, configure in Superwall. So you need to make sure that everything's working at every step and you're not leaving things behind that eventually break your app at a later date. The third thing that allowed me to build it in just 14 days rather than taking months or 6 months to build an app is making sure I'm keeping up to date with all the latest AIs. This means every time a new AI model was coming out, I was putting it in my app. Not obviously in my app necessarily, but in the development of my app. Claude Code came out the next day I was using it to develop my app. GPT-5 came out literally yesterday. I'm already using it for coding. Codex comes out. I'm using it for coding the next day. New Gemini 2.5 model, not Pro model. Not everybody even knows or sees about that, but I'm using it. Gemini Code, I'm using it. Whatever it may be, even attempting to potentially integrate using Versal, using these web apps to help me with my app or help me with the development of my app in some sort of way. Just looking at how can I always integrate new things and speed up that process at all times is what's going to help you. Cool, you can build that app in a month by just using, the basic cursor agent and just develop it slowly. But why would I want to do that when I could speed it up by spending, 30 minutes, an hour, maybe 2 hours setting up some new AI that's going to help me 2x, 3x, 4x that development process. My app now has approximately 850 users, over 1,000 downloads, and we've just launched out our premium subscription. Before that, it was completely free. We've just launched out our premium subscription, so starting to get premium users in. If you want to keep up with my journey and watch me as I grow this app, Make sure you subscribe, as I'm going to keep posting videos on this channel showing, you know, how I'm building Stylr, things I'm doing to build Stylr quicker, marketing, everything, showing you every step of what I'm doing to get this app to where I want it to be.